You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Mm-mm. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Mm-mm. Welcome back to the Kempire channel. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all the good things. Oh, it is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I have to say, the season hasn't been bad, y'all. And it's not my favorite season, but it's kept me engaged. I actually look forward to talking about it with you guys. Shout out to all of you that are watching from around the country and around the world. Sunny Miami, rub it in. Cold Chicago, cold Rochester, Nashville's in the building. Chicago, we got a lot of Chicago people in the building. What's going on, Chicago? Watching from Boston, Matea says. What's going on, Belgium? Hey, Dan Talk. Los Angeles, hey, Deborah. What's going on? Texas is in the building. Love it, love it. The Black Brick currently in the Netherlands. What's going on, Shauna? What's going on, Cincinnati? Hey, Fifi. We got a lot of Chicago people. The Bay Area. Hey, Angel. What's going on? And shout out to the one person that just disliked the video. What did you did not like? I haven't said anything yet. Do you think that you could predict what I'm about to say? Okay. Sunny Botswana, rub it in. London, UK is in the building. What's going on? Phoenix, what's going on? Live from Uganda. Thank you so much. Ann Arbor. Okay, what's going on? Costa Rica. I want to be there. Mobile, Alabama, what's going on? St. Kitts is in the house. What's going on, everyone? All right, Netherlands, what's going on? I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Shout out to the 153 of you, though, that have liked the video already. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it, guys. All right. If you had to rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, how would you rate it? Let me think. How would I rate this episode of Potomac? I think it was a good episode. The conversation between Monique and Giselle, we will talk about. But if you watch What Happens Live, and I normally don't, but I was interested to see Monique and what she had to say. Okay? Based off what Andy said during What Happens Live, he had basically the same feeling that I had. It didn't seem like they showed any accountability from Giselle. So who's to blame here? The editors over there at Truly Original? Because I feel like it was, even though we got a little bit more in regards to a conversation between Giselle and Monique than we did with Wendy and Giselle. But it was the same thing of why does it feel like the other people are pouring their hearts out to Giselle and kneeling at the throne that is Giselle, and Giselle's just sort of there, yeah, you were wrong. She took a little bit of accountability, but according to Monique, she took a lot of accountability in the unedited version. She said, we talked about a lot of stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. And honestly, it just made us look at the conversation like, why is Monique apologizing so much? I get apologize for a little bit of it, but it felt like she was like, oh, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back. Oh my God, I was so wrong, blah, blah, blah. And yes, there are things that she could take accountability for, but why does it feel like that Giselle did nothing wrong? Even Andy Cohen said it on Watch What Happens Live. He's like, it didn't seem like Giselle had a lot of accountability. Even he's an executive producer, unless you're just playing dumb. But according to Monique, she says, we talked about a lot, and I get it, it's only a 40-something minute show. But I honestly, if they really wanted to make right with the fans, they should have did the flip, where we saw more of Giselle taking accountability than we saw Monique. Because it's been 5 years. 5 years. And I've told you this before. Giselle's new change of heart there is no change. We've seen it with the way that she treats Stacey. Giselle has not changed. She's just playing the game. She wants to keep this show. She wants to keep this check. This is her check. This is her only real big check. Okay, she's at the podcast with 10 million downloads. Okay. No, this is her biggest check. She's probably making nearly $1 million off of this show. She's not trying to lose this check, so she will do whatever it takes, meaning make up with Monique. And she'd much rather make up with Monique than Candace. Did you guys see what Monique had to say about Candace and possible return? Let me see if I can find that, and we can play the audio of that. Keep liking the video, guys, if you haven't already. We can before we get into the full recap, I did want to talk about what Monique said on Watch What Happens Live about Candace. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. All right. And also don't forget, guys, you can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. And if you're a Club Kempire baddie, did you guys listen to this week's episode? Tea was spilled. Sarah Sherman, you saw the clip that they showed in regards to her comedy special, and no one laughed. Even she felt like the awkwardness. I didn't think she was that great of a guest, and I didn't think she was that funny. But I feel like with comedy, it ranges with people. Like, you either like someone's comedy or you don't. I was like, who is this woman? And why is she here? She's not funny at all. But okay, fine. Like, I felt like all the jokes that she was trying to make during Watch What Happens Live just didn't land. It was like okay, girl. All right. And let me play for you. Oh, here's the clip. I'm going to play this clip for you guys. It's short.
How do you, like, we've seen that you've done so much work on yourself. How do you feel about your relationship with Candace, and do you see there ever being a reconciliation?
There was no relationship, and sometimes moving on doesn't mean that you...
There was no relationship? I mean, that doesn't shock me because we can't go by what we see on a show, but it did feel like they had a relationship. But okay, let me go back.
Do you see there ever being a reconciliation?
There was no relationship, and sometimes moving on doesn't mean that you have to reconcile. Sometimes you just see people for who they are, and you know your place, and you set your boundaries, and it's okay not to rekindle something that isn't meant to be rekindled.
So it seems like the door is closed. Here's the thing. Candace has talked about this as well. It didn't seem like the door was open for Candace either, and I'm sure that's partially why Monique has said what she said here. But it's so weird to see Monique be so forgiving and open when it comes to Giselle, who really was the catalyst when it comes to all the drama here. It's just kind of weird. But I also understand, here's the thing, and this is me twerking on a fence. It's hard to get to a place of forgiveness and moving forward with someone that you've been in a physical fight with. And yes, she's the one who dragged Candace, so you would understand why Candace would not see it for her. But then there was also legal stuff, charges. Okay, so there was a lot that happened after that fight. So I can understand where they may not be able to get to a better place. But to be honest with you, the real conversation that I would rather see on this show would be between Candace and Monique. Because on the show, at the very least, they seem to be building a friendship and a sisterhood. But I also don't believe, very much what I believe in regards to Giselle, and not being 100% and just doing this for the show, doing it to keep her check. I believe that Monique is doing this so that she could promote her book, so she could make a living, because now she's not married to Big Boy. She's not married to Chris Samuels anymore. So, she got a nice little settlement, but, you have a certain lifestyle. She's got Chanel bags and things like that. She wants to live a certain lifestyle, okay? She's a young woman. She still has many, many years ahead of her. So I feel like she's trying to secure her position. Even during the show, she was talking about coming back next season. And I was like, oh, are we presumptuous right now? All right. So I think she's playing the game. Do I blame her for playing the game? No. Look, everybody's got to have some sort of hustle, right? But I'm keeping my good eyes. Both of them are good. Yeah, both 2020. I'm keeping my good eyes on you, Monique. But again, if I'm twerking on a fence, I understand why you would never see it for Candace and why Candace would never see it for you. I get it. You guys get into physical fight. We've gotten to other, legal stuff. I get it. The response was interesting to me, though. Let me play it one more time.
Your relationship with Candace, and do you see there ever being a reconciliation?
There was no relationship, and sometimes moving on doesn't mean that you have to reconcile. Sometimes you just see people for who they are, and you know your place, and you set your boundaries, and it's okay not to rekindle something that isn't meant to be rekindled.
And which I agree on the surface. I definitely agree. Sometimes in order to move forward, you don't necessarily need to have a conversation with someone else. It can just be done. But, okay. All right, Monique. But does that mean the door is closed for the possibility of Candace coming back? Because, okay, can we have a conversation? Because we're team us. We don't know these people. We are team us. Because there are people that are team Monique. There are people that are team Candace. Let's have a real conversation now. Monique, for me, she's never been one of my favorite housewives when she was on the show. I liked her on the show. However, I didn't love her on the show. There isn't a Monique line before the season 5 reunion besides, oh, I have 4 houses. But that's not an iconic line, okay? It just made Giselle's face crack, okay? And it's never been the same since. But she was never my favorite on the show. She didn't have iconic house lines or energy. I can't say the same for Candace. Candace definitely has iconic moments and lines and funny, and she's good. Sometimes she goes too far. I'm not going to deny that. Sometimes Candace goes too far. But she was definitely, if we're going to compare who was the better housewife when it comes to entertainment value, until Monique showed up. That's why I was completely shocked during the season 5 reunion. I was like, where was this Monique? Where has this Monique been? Where has this Monique been? Mods, block LW. I'm playing. I'm joking. LW, is this pre-recorded? I don't understand why y'all guys. If it was pre-recorded, just be happy you're getting the content. Mind you, I have never even pre-recorded Real Housewives of Potomac recap. Is this pre-recorded? Anyway, or maybe you said that so you could get the fever today. Okay. Hey, Judy. Judy's watching on Twitch. Judy says, Judy's over here laughing at y'all right now. It's okay, LW. You probably weren't here the last time I had to get someone together for this. I'm joking. I'm joking with you. Calm down. Coco's walking in late. What's going on? Exactly. Dad says, not today, neck. If we had to really compare who's been the most iconic housewife between Candace and Monique, I would say Candace. The other element, like I said to you before, I feel like in season 5, I feel like that was the one. I was like, where has this Monique been? I was like, whoa, I was not ready for it. And that's why I was like, Monique needs to come back. 'Cause if she has this in her, LW says, not you dragging me. But it's all love, LW. It's all love, okay? But the next person that says it will get dragged. Sally says, come on, villain era. I just posted a tweet over the week yesterday that I said, I feel like the villain era is slowly slipping away, y'all. The villain era is slowly slipping away because how many times I've started responding to some of the comments or tweets and stuff like that. And then I'm just like, delete. The villain era is going away. All right. Fab says, I agree with Kempire, and I'm not a fan of Candace. I haven't been a fan of Candace either. And when I say not a fan, because at the end of the day, there will be moments where I'm like, oh, that was funny, Candace. I haven't been a fan overall when it comes to Candace, okay? But, yeah, see, Trey says, I find Monique boring. What I do enjoy about Monique this season is the fact that she's not falling into the traps that they're trying to lay for her. That's what I can appreciate. But we'll see, because what we saw from Monique during season 5 said to me, oh, she's got it. It's in her. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see, okay? Stacey says Monique changed for a check, for that little check. Okay. Oh, Flip Virgo says, did we forget Candace's iconic butter knife fight with Ashley? No, I've been watching some old clips of Real Housewives of Potomac. And first of all, we don't talk enough about how Karen is on her way to being a Nene icon. I know people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but I'm saying it. There are so many amazing moments, hence why, not saying that it was right, when Karen showed up at BravoCon and got the standing ovation. Oh, wait, hold on. Tranquil says, you need a Tranquil villain era combo. Well, I think that's where we're at right now. We're in between. I'm not in the lover boy era yet, but I'm getting there. Okay. All right. D-Way says the villain era will eternally live within you, Cap. Not eternally. I mean, it is. It will always live in me because it just came out. But please understand, it's always been there. But all right. All right, let me focus, y'all. Let me focus and get into our Real Housewives of Potomac recap. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Happy holidays. It's officially the holidays. I can't tell you how the joy when I see people decorating their homes or they've gotten their tree this weekend. I'm like, yes, come on. 'Tis the season. It's about time. I've been tising the season since before Thanksgiving. It's now time for you guys to tis the season. Have you put up your tree yet? As you can see, my tree has been up, okay? Thank you to everyone that sent ornaments. You know, for those that didn't see it, hold on, let me pull it off. I have the ornament from, well, first of all, shout out to everyone that sent an ornament. I'm not going to take all the ornaments off, but since we're talking about Potomac, our friend Angel W. sent us this for the Christmas tree in the studio. I have also updated our P.O. box. You can still send it to the old P.O. box. If you sent something already, I will check it. But I have updated our new P.O. box, okay? So if you would like to send an ornament, you still have some time. You don't have to, but I'm adding it to the tree. So thank you to everyone that sent ornaments or sent gifts. Some of you sent me candles. Okay, so thank you to everyone that sent me candles from Good Old Scent. And then, hold on, someone sent me from, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. Is it Exutor Company? I don't know what it says, y'all. Exutor, I think, or Exutore or something like that. Apologies, but thank you so much for the candles. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Mrs. Edith says, my birthday was Saturday. Happy birthday, belated birthday. And I will now start my holiday decorations. Also, you have a feeling about having your birthday so close to Christmas. It's okay. It's all right. Happy birthday. All right. Funky says, Kempire, do you have food allergies? Not really. No, nothing that stands out to me. There's certain things that I don't like, but I don't think y'all send me stuff like that, like certain like crab and stuff like that. But yeah, Forever Tyranny says my notifications failed me. It's okay. We haven't even got into it. Not the shady mugshot ornament. Yep. Thanks, Angel. What's going on from New Zealand? What's going on? Everyone's loving the ornament, Angel. I think it's perfect. Right. All right. Before we get into our Real Housewives of Potomac recap, our live is brought to you today by our friends over at Cash App. It's the holiday season, and unfortunately, scams are on the rise. I'm so excited to welcome Cash App as a sponsor of today's live, and I've been using Cash App more recently than ever before. And I haven't realized the amount of new things that they've added to the app to secure my safety and your safety. Now more than ever, with the holiday and all these different scams that are out there, you want to make sure when sending money to your friends, family, or someone you owe money, easily and safely. Scammers know the holidays are busy for everyone, which can make us all targets for scams. That's why Cash App builds in protection to help keep your money safe while you're checking off your shopping list. If you're about to send money to someone for a deal that's too good to be true and Cash App flags it as a potential scam, they'll warn you before you send the money. Cash App also gives you an extra layer of protection with features like security lock. You can require a PIN, Face ID, or fingerprint to unlock your account and move money, so even if someone gets a hold of your unlocked phone at a holiday party, your money is right where you left it. Give yourself some peace of mind this holiday season and download Cash App. I've literally have utilized the Cash App feature recently a lot and noticed the new protections that they've added to the app. So of course, we've gotten you covered in regards to an exclusive code. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code, SECURE10, in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. We all love free money, don't we? Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners, prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand, and visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. More information on Cash App and your code will be available in the description. Yes, welcome back to the Kempire channel, guys. Shout out to Cash App. Again, more information on Cash App will be available in the description. Mrs. E says, just out of curiosity, do you have a favorite things Christmas list? I do. And I haven't posted about it just yet, so stay tuned. But thank you for reminding me. I need to work on it. I've been catching up. Fifi says, does Monique get child support? From what I hear, Monique does not get child support. She just got like a lump sum. So she's not, I don't know if she's getting child support. Or you know what? I don't think she's getting spousal support. So she probably gets something when it comes to the kids. All right. Mrs. Edith says, thank you, Kempire. I was traumatized as a child by the combo of birthday and Christmas gifts, so I separated them as an adult. I don't blame you. I know a lot of people that are born around that time that feel the same way. Poor things. Look, traumatized. Mr. Melon Magic says, scams on the rise. Kemp, you shading Pam Oliver again? We're going to be talking about Pam Oliver subsequently today. Okay. Noda Queen, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Noda Queen says, if Monique's evolution was real, she would have apologized to Candace a long time ago. They don't have to be friends, but Mo acts like the fight is something that happened to her. Right? Destination Sunrise, thank you so much for the super chat. Destination says, I predict Candace and Monique will have a sit down next season and let's make Jizzy a friend of. I would say that you're wrong. You don't even have to be a psychic to tell you that you're wrong there. I don't see that happening. Skiji, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Candace back equals only way I'd stand Ashley. Stand to Ashley, keeping Ashley around. Yeah. Monique Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. Monique says, free Karen so that she can come and save RHOP. She is free. What in the Stacey Dash? Monique, you know she's free, right? Or are you just being funny? She is free. Free Karen. She is free. Katie, thank you so much for the super chat. Katie says, Karen being BFF's a cookie, big side eye. Tell me about it. And if you want to know more about my personal cookie experience, not really personal, but some tea, make sure you become a Club Kempire baddie. That's the Apple Podcast paid subscription. Just saying. We spilled some tea. I spilled a lot of tea in that latest episode of Club Kempire. Who listened to it? Thank you so much, Katie, for the super chat. So let's get to the Real Housewives of Potomac and the episode itself. I did watch the after show as well. I was literally rewatching it before we came live, hence why I was a little bit late, but here we are. So at the top of the episode, we have Giselle and Wendy going car shopping. Giselle wants to improve her carbon footprint, so she wants to get an electric car. The cars look good. I was like, this is really nice. I was surprised. Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. Miss Brooklyn Diamond just gifted 10 Kempire memberships. Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. Happy holidays to you. That's very generous of you. Thank you. All right, so she wants to get a new G-Wagon, okay? Wendy looks beautiful, comes in, hair, outfit, looking great. Wendy doesn't even need to dress up to look better than Giselle, because Giselle's always going to look, Giselle, okay? But she comes because she knows she's going to be on camera looking divine. I don't know where Wendy was going, but she looked great. Wendy says that she didn't want to pull a Stacey, so she wanted to let Giselle know that she was planning on getting herself a G-Wagon as well. Oh, really? Again, here's the thing. I've been trying to put aside the fraud charges and what they've claimed, but it's hard when you see all these different things to go like, how are you affording this? Well, according to her and her storyline, I think Wendy's having a fantastic season. Anyone else? She's having a great season. From her clapbacks to how she's handling herself to the friendships and things like that. I feel like she's having a great season. But it's hard for me to forget about these charges. So she says she wants to get a G-Wagon. Remember, the charges are claiming that Wendy and Eddie, not saying that they don't have any money, but according to the prosecution that are charging her with these allegations, they're saying that they're in extreme debt. Lee says, well, what money? Lee, I'm wondering too. Okay, did they end up getting the car? All right. So she wanted to tell Giselle that she was getting this, but she's going to get a different color, but she didn't want to be like Stacey. Okay? Wendy thinks that Stacey mimics her because she doesn't know how to say that she appreciates some of the things that Wendy is doing. Okay? I hope Stacey don't mimic you too much, Wendy. I just hope she doesn't go that far. Okay. All right. So Wendy says that Stacey also reached out to her stylist, which, you know, I said this last week, and that's not because I saw the episode or saw that clip. I just happened to know that Chanel, who she styled the entire reunion. Like, she was like the head stylist for their last reunion, Potomac's last reunion, but she's worked with Wendy for years. They're no longer working together, but now she did BravoCon with Stacey. So hence why, if you loved Stacey's looks at BravoCon, it's because Chanel has done Nene, she's done Kenya, she's done just so many of the different. She did the reunion look for Shamia. She did that beautiful reunion look. So she gets the girls together, okay? So Wendy brings up the fact like, oh, I found out she also reached out to my stylist. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I get it. Some of these housewives are going to be very particular, like, don't be, using my team, that kind of thing. But in this industry of entertainment, and specifically in the reality space, a lot of the people use the same people. Same hair, makeup, stylists, and things like that. So I don't think there's anything a big deal about it. Wendy didn't make a big deal about it, though. She says that she doesn't think that Stacey is a bad person, though. She finds her funny. I agree. And again, this is not like Chanel hasn't worked with other housewives. Even other housewives, I believe, also on Potomac, that I can think of. But she's worked heavily with Wendy since Wendy's had this sort of like transformation with her style. So Wendy says that she asked Giselle, like, she doesn't understand why everyone keeps jumping on Stacey. Okay? And Giselle's like, she believes that it's valid. She says that she thinks that Stacey is sneaky. Sneakier than you, Giselle? She thinks that Stacey is sneaky. And here's the thing. For those that think that we do not see through Stacey, okay? We see through Stacey. We've had our own experience with Stacey. We've talked about this already. But it's the pylon that's making people gravitate towards her. Okay? And we're going to, because I'm going to be talking on the fence a lot in this review, okay? Miss Fegan says that Giselle needs to call the stylist. I mean, it's a whole thing, though. It's not even just Giselle's clothes. It's a whole thing. Danielle says, let's normalize black women sharing black talent. And they usually do. And you saw in this particular moment, Wendy brings it up as an example. But she says she's okay with it. She didn't have an issue with it. But I wonder, wait a second. It makes me wonder, is that the reason Wendy stopped using Chanel? Oh, I never thought about that. Because it makes me wonder, is that the reason why? Or maybe in her head, she's like, I don't want to use the same styles as anyone else on this cast. Ooh. But mind you, she's worked with Chanel for years. Okay. All right, fine. Moving on. Guys, don't forget, we will be live as well at 3 p.m. Eastern. We got a lot going on today. When it comes to our recap, we have Married to Medicine, but that won't be a long one, right? Right? Dina says Wendy can't afford Chanel. And she means Chanel the stylist, right? Or you mean both? Both. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. So Wendy says that she doesn't understand why everyone keeps jumping on Stacey. Giselle's just like, Stacey is sneaky. Meat kettle. Wendy and Giselle get into the car to test drive it. And Wendy's like, can you drive? Because it's sort of like she can't figure it out. It's a newer car, it's different directions and things like that. And they start driving. She's like, what's going on? So they're driving and they're trying to have a conversation, which was nice. Like, I'm not one of the people that feel like Wendy needs to hate Giselle for the rest of her time on the show. That doesn't work. Fans do not want to watch that. So if the production forces them to be a friend and somehow they find a way to get along, even though maybe they don't like each other deeply, or maybe they eventually will, I can appreciate these scenes where they're just having a good time together, because it doesn't stop Wendy from making shady comments about Giselle or vice versa. Okay? So then they start talking about Karen. She's just like, Wendy's asked about Karen. Have you spoken to Karen? And she's like, yeah. And, free Karen. She's like, free Karen, Giselle says. And even Wendy, who Karen left on a sour note, is just like, yeah. And she said, Giselle says, with Monique back, it's like we got the band back together again. So next season, it'll be Karen back. It'll be Giselle back. It'll be Wendy possibly. I'd be shocked if Wendy doesn't come back next season, y'all. I would be completely shocked because, again, I believe she needs that check. All right. Moving on. So they discuss seeing Monique, and Giselle expresses that she wants to have a sit down with Monique. Okay. So Giselle's had a complete 180 when it comes to Monique, but the beef between them shouldn't be that deep. Or should it? Because the way that Monique dragged Giselle, but Karen has dragged Giselle for years, and they still seem to have some sort of frenemy-ship. So I could see the possibility. Giselle doesn't care. Recently, there was a clip going around. Giselle was doing a live event with our friends over at Butter. Hey, Butter. Discount code in the description. And she says that, she doesn't care. She doesn't care what anyone says about her, which I found to be interesting because, Giselle, when I met you at the New York BravoCon, very briefly, the first thing out your mouth was, what have you guys said about me on your pages? And I was like, and luckily, literally, it was like a very a moment of meeting her, and someone had to pull her away for something else. But that's the only interaction that I ever had with Giselle. For someone that doesn't care, I thought it was funny that the first thing out your mouth was, what have you said about me on your page? At that particular point, I don't even know what I said about her because this was years ago. This was the not the first BravoCon, but the one right after the pandemic. You know what I mean? But Giselle says she doesn't care. We know. We could tell from the fashion, from the hair, from the behavior. We know you don't care. You only care when production or the network is just like, no, we need you to get along if you want to keep your job. That's the only time that she cares. But all right. All right. Let's get to this next scene. Stacey meets up with her bestie, AJ, who's probably the only one that can speak some sense into Stacey. So they discuss the launch of her party. I guess she's having a launch party for Shio on Juneteenth. So this is back in June. So Stacey says that she's the first Black woman to have her own cannabis line in the state of Virginia. They talk about this during the after show. And this is why I can't get with Ashley, because very much like her and Giselle, they're just dead set on anything that Stacey's doing is to dog it out. And she says in the after show, Ashley, that she just says these things like she just makes these things up. You can just do a quick Google search, which I did. I even asked ChatGPT. Stacey is the first Black woman to have a cannabis line in the state of Virginia. She is. So Ashley says on the after show, well, if she really was, they would have had, this would have been articles and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Girl, yes, you're right. A quick Google search would have told you that Stacey actually is. She is. You guys keep falling flat. You keep coming for Stacey, and there's so much you could come for Stacey for, and you keep coming for stuff, and you keep falling flat, and you keep being proven wrong. I'm just saying. But okay. So Stacey reveals to AJ, she's like, did you know that I am the first Black woman to have a cannabis line in the state of Virginia? So then she talks about her struggles with the group. And those struggles were real because according to my sources, while they were filming, she was feeling iced out. I know you don't feel the icing of the situation because of the way that it's edited, but according to sources, a lot of people weren't filming with her. You saw they didn't want to even show up to her event. I wouldn't be shocked if production says, Ashley, you have to show up to this event. I wouldn't be surprised. However, based off how it's edited, it doesn't feel like they're icing her out. It does feel like there's a pylon, but word on the street, they were icing her out. They weren't filming with her. Okay? So Stacey talks about her struggles with the groove. She then brings up Kiarna. Did you guys notice that Kiarna barely was in this episode? They had like one moment when she was just like, yeah, I'm not going to her launch party. And yes, they had a scene with Angel and Kiarna's mom. Honestly, the episode was fantastic. without Kiarna, it was fantastic. Hey, Lomi. Well, Lomi's watching from Baltimore. Having big fun in Baltimore. Shout out to everyone in Baltimore. Taria Faison is in Baltimore. Hey, Taria. All right, moving on. So Stacey brings up Kiarna and Ashley and how they keep accusing her of stuff. And then she updates AJ on the latest thing that they're accusing her of, and that is bringing this information to Chris. And look, I honestly, when they first brought it up, I was like, oh, I believe she did it. But now I don't believe it because I feel like they're harping on her and then based off of the information. And look, I can't even go by what Chris had to say, but it's very clear that they were trying to find anything, and anything is possible, especially you got Cookie involved, you got Giselle involved. Like, we have some known liars. So it wouldn't shock me. They're like, you know what? This is the plan. We're going to throw her under the bus. We're going to say that she brought this information to Chris. But I believe one of them told Cookie and Cookie told Chris. Just saying. That's what I believe. Okay? But I'm tired of talking about it. Excuse me. So AJ says they're old asses. Damn. Because he's not understanding how these grown adults are having these petty conversations and trying to ice someone out. He said, that's dumb. He's like, that's dumb. Like, he's the voice of reason. Because even Stacey needs someone with a voice of reason. Okay. And Watson says it was Kay. I believe it could be any one of them. I think it could have been any one of them, and Kay could have been just the one to be the one to bring it on camera. Jennifer says, not gonna lie, I did not miss Kay this episode. I think her mom would make a better housewife. I don't want any of them. Because even if her mom stays, that means Kiarna will be getting camera time. Sorry. Look, sorry. I like her. Beautiful woman. Okay, beautiful woman, but that's it. All right. So then Stacey mimics Tia because she talks about her issues with Tia. And she's, okay, Stacey, you got to work on your English accent. But shout out to our UK massive. Thoughts on Stacey's English accent, Tia? No, that was incorrect, Stacey. So she mimics what Tia said to her at the reasonably shady event. She's just like, I can't even mimic her terrible version of the accent, but she mimics Tia in that moment. And AJ said that, okay, so you let someone from across the pond read your ass. You let someone from across the pond read your ass, and you're from Detroit? Okay. Deborah says, Kempire, what about Kay's brother? No. You already told me he's married, so. Get off my show. Look. Creme Brulee was watching from the UK. Accent was horrible. I was just like, she was like, oh, no. You would think, especially dating a German man, not to say that there's any correlation, you just would think that she would be able to do it a little bit better. All right. Someone says that Wendy should hit Law Roche for Styles. I'm sure she could, but can she afford him? Especially right now, she's got lawyers and stuff, y'all. So AJ said, "You let someone from across the pond read your A, and you're from Detroit." That's what we're all thinking. Okay, but she didn't. Tia didn't read Stacey. Stacey held her own in that moment. Okay, she definitely held her own. All right. Speaking of Tia, so we get this separate scene with Tia at her real estate office, and she's been so busy that she's speaking with her boss, and she said, "I think it's now time that I build my own team." Okay. And she says, she's starting to get used to sort of working this type of way because of the way that she grew up. And she talks about the way that she grew up. She's like, my neighbor was, I went to school with Sting's daughter, and my neighbor was Boy George. But, and this made more sense, that she says things change after the 80s. And she talked about how her father made some poor business moves, hence their money wasn't as long. Makes me wonder, though, like, what about her mom? Because her mom comes from Nigerian royalty as well. So it makes me wonder, like, how old were you when your father lost all that money? Because if you're 40-something years old and he lost all the money in the 80s, so in the 90s, you still were like a little girl. So it still doesn't make sense to me that if he lost all that money in the 80s, the 90s, I feel like Tia is around my age. You know, people still don't know her age. So in the 90s, you were still very little. So it's not, there's something with Tia in that. I like Tia. Don't get me wrong. I do like Tia. I don't like everything about Tia. But, okay, see, Dina says Tia's story is falling apart. It's not, you notice how I pick up on things. I'm paying attention. I was like, wait, she grew up in royalty. And I said, look at the house. I was like, and you're a real estate agent. Sidebar, I have not watched Only Manhattan yet. I am looking forward to watching it. Stay tuned. Because I watched the season 1 like 5 times. So I part of me wants to rewatch season 1 so I can get back there for season 2. Patricia says that I disagree, Kempire. Stacey got caught in her lies. She got caught in many lies, not the major lies that they've been bringing against her. Look, please understand, we're not saying that Stacey is innocent and that Stacey isn't a liar. I still believe that. I believe that. Okay. Someone said the time is not adding up. Very much like when she lied about her age to her husband. Something about Tia. So Tia. Oh, Margaret says Tia's a fraud, just like her accent. Why y'all keep coming for her accent? I believe her accent, okay? Lavender says Nigerian royalty is a bit of a stretch. Lots of people are royalty, but it's not that special. Okay. But here's the thing. The reason why they emphasize some of these things on reality television, especially Bravo, they want to give what you guys keep asking for. You want money, you want luxury, you want royalty. This is why they talk it up. In her life, she probably doesn't conduct herself like this or talk about it like it's anything. But, Pageant Mommy says, you are not saying that, Kempire, but her fanatics are. I know, which is why in this recap, we're going to have some real Stacey talk in a second. Antoinette says that Only Manhattan was good. I'm looking forward to watching season 2. I'm not looking forward to watching Ryan Serhant for a variety of reasons, but I got to support the other agents on it because I really enjoy the show. All right, let me move on. So Tia then talks about how she grew up, and she talks about how her father made some bad investments in the 80s, so the money changed after the 80s. So, like, how old was I in the 90s? I was a little kid. I wasn't even a teenager yet. So I'm just sort of like, but that would stick out more in your mind than anything. But okay, fine. So then she ends up making a call to Stacey because Stacey invited her to this whole Spacey Stacey weed event, okay? So they have a conversation. She's like, I got your invitation, and I'd like to come and support you, which I thought was nice because I don't believe the issues between Stacey and Tia are that deep, which we will get to because I don't feel like it needed to end the way that it ended. And I do feel like Stacey was trying to have a moment with Tia. I think she had already planned in her head that when Tia comes here, we're going to talk about the issue, and then I'm going to kick her out, which we've seen housewives plan kickouts before. We've seen Giselle do it. We've seen it on other cities, okay? Tia is 46, so she's a few years older than me, but still. Okay. All right. So she's like, I would like to come and support you. So she's going to show up to the event. Fine. Let's move on to this Ashley scene. Why did we get 2 scenes? Taria Faison hit me up from the Wells Going podcast, and she was just like, why are we getting 2 Ashley Darby's? At that particular point, I hadn't watched yet, and I was like, are we? Oh, I was like, that was not a good way for me to get into the episode. I was like, oh God, we get 2 scenes with Ashley. So Ashley goes to the arcade. Ashley goes to the arcade with Josh, okay? So she talks about the difference in dating Josh versus some of her older suitors. She says she dated a suitor that rented out an entire restaurant for her. Another one flew her private to Vegas. Okay, all right. So Ashley then talks about Josh, talks to Josh about her concerns about where they are, because she feels like, I have kids, I've been married before, you haven't, you might not want to rush into having kids. She's like, if I'm wanting, and now she does say in the after show that she's open to having kids, but she says if I'm going to have any kids, she's also a woman of a particular age, she's almost 40, she would have to have those kids like in the next year or two. So Josh is look, for some reason Josh is enamored. I felt like watching this scene, I was like, it's very clear that Ashley used him. She used him to have a man on her arm during this season. And I didn't believe this relationship, especially because then it was announced she was going to be on Love Hotel. I was like, so that relationship with Josh is nothing serious, is nothing real, despite how she was trying to make it seem. So it was very clear to me that his contract was up. And this was going to be the scene where she breaks up with Josh. And that's exactly what she does. But Josh, before she breaks up with Josh, she's just like, you don't really know my finances. You're making a lot of assumptions about what I can do and where I can be. And she's like, Josh, we haven't even gone on a trip together. She's like, oh, but I invited you to Pittsburgh. I have to give Ashley credit here. Not credit. I have to see Ashley's side of things and give her some grace. Because when you look at her story with how her mother has had her relationship and what she's currently living like, Ashley saw that and she says, that will never be me. She didn't say that like that, but basically that is what she was saying. She saw her mother's situation and she says, that will never be me. Whoever I get married to and date will be the replacement for my father. Clearly, Ashley has daddy issues. Okay, so she can have a good time with Josh. She can sleep with Josh, all of that. But she will never take Josh seriously because Josh does not make enough for what Ashley needs. And despite Ashley saying or making us believe that she got some sort of grand settlement from Gullum, she didn't. In my wholeheartedness, I don't believe she got anything besides that $2 million house. Fantastic. If anything, he sets you up nicely. Okay? But I don't feel like she got like a big cash payday from Gullum. All right? Based off of the prenup that she signed. So she's looking for her next suitor, someone that's going to be able to afford her. And she's like, Josh can't do it. She talked about this on the after show. She's like, you want to, I can take care of, and Ashley makes a good check on Potomac too. She's like, I can take care of my 2 boys, but now if we have a kid together, are you going to be able to take care of it? Clearly not. Josh, she did you a big favor because I feel like, I said this the last couple of weeks, I feel like Ashley is there's a reason why Ashley was with Gullum. She's very much like him. You really you dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet. Josh seems like a nice enough guy. I know the sister says that, he's not the best looking. I think it's the haircut. I think that might also add to the look. But Josh, you'll be fine. Wale, we said this last week. Wale, you dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet with this one. Especially and look, everyone gets married for different reasons. I'm not judging people that get married for the money or the bag. Okay? Everyone gets married for different reasons. And in certain cultures, that is important. Your parents are finding your partner for you, and they're like, well, does he come from a good family? Does a family have money? The culture. So I don't judge. Everyone gets married for different reasons, okay? So it's very clear, Josh, that Ashley's getting married for a certain level. And to be honest with you, she's now making money at a certain level too. So I understand why she would not want to date someone, God forbid, now look at the whole Candy of it all, Candy Burris. Why marry someone that's making less money than you? You get married, all of a sudden his value goes up and he divorces you and now you're paying him child support or you're paying him spousal support. So I get it. Her plot and plan is to marry someone that has more. Okay, someone that can fly her out. You dodged the bullet, Josh. Okay, you dodged the bullet. Just, I know right now you probably can't see it, but you did. Wale, you too, brother. You too. Just saying. Wale's good looking though. Come on, Wale. You dodged the bullet. I want you to find you someone better than Ashley. And you will. Stop talking to her though, Wale. Okay. Let me say thank you. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's easy, free way of supporting the channel. We almost have 2,000 people in the building. Oh, well, we definitely have over 2,000 because we have quite a few of you watching on X. Shout out to everyone watching on X. We see you. Let me say thank you to Miss Esquire. Thank you for being a member and for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, I hate when folks refer to pros as their team. Unless you have these folks under contract and pay them so they can turn other work down, sit down. You're right. Keith, thank you. Not the Virgos coming out with the super chats. Thank you, Virgos. Keith says, I don't care. I can't stand a friend that does and follows everything I do. It gives they're going to skin your body and wear you as a costume. In regards to Stacey and the Wendy comparisons, I mean, that would be weird. When Keith puts it this way, I get it. It's one thing if you want to utilize my stylist, but if you, let's say, utilizing my stylist, you're utilizing my makeup artist, it kind of sort of like, okay, there are other people out there, but yeah, I kind of get where it'd be kind of like, okay, and now you're mimicking my business, and we're going to talk about the business because I have a lot to say about not inviting Wendy to your event, Stacey. Noda Queen, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Noda Queen says, on Reddit, they're saying Tia is a princess in the same way Karen is the Granta. Come on, shut up. Stop, Noda Queen. Reddit is just as bad as X, too. That is hilarious, though. She is the Granta. What do you mean? Someone just hit me up on X saying, I forgot what they were saying. They were like, and I believe that as much as I believe Santa's crossing the night sky. And I said, Santa's not real? Lies. Santa's not real? Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. So then we have this. So Ashley does eventually, in this scene, break up with Josh. He's like, can I still walk you out? Oh, Josh, if my tiny violin was working, I'd play it for you, but it's not. Bossy says, am I late? Yup. We've been live for like almost an hour. Where have you been? Just saying. It's okay. You can always replay us. Millie, thank you so much for gifting. Thank you. You're all feeling the Christmas spirit. Thank you for gifting memberships because I will be dropping. Matter of fact, I will drop the call-in link now for members. I'm not taking callers just yet, but I will drop the call-in link for members. Live chat, I'll drop the call link for you guys. Let's get to 750 likes. Okay. And if you missed it, guys, we did end up recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this past week. So be sure to check that out. No promises. I will be recapping it every week. All right. And we also recapped Kimora back in the Fab Lane. So if you missed that, you can also hear it on the Kempire podcast. All right. All right, let's talk about this Monique and Giselle conversation. So on Watch What Happens Live, Monique says that they talked about everything. There was so much more that they talked about. And even Andy Cohen was surprised. It felt like Giselle didn't show any accountability. And I don't know if he's just saying that because you make notes when it comes to these scenes. So I don't understand if you saw this before everyone else that you didn't say we need to show more of what Giselle is saying. Because it felt like another Wendy and Giselle conversation where it feels like everyone is bowing to Giselle. Giselle does a little bit, she does say, I felt sorry. What do you mean you felt? It didn't feel like an apology. And in that moment, you see Monique say, thank you for that. She didn't apologize. She said she felt sorry. I need her to say, I am so sorry for what I'd said and did. She's like, I felt sorry. And she's like, thank you for that. What? That wasn't an apology. So Monique says back in the day, before they even sit down, she said back in the day, she just thought that Giselle was a hater. She was. Okay? She was miserable and just wanted to pick on people, is what Monique said. Okay? But she says, you show me your ass, I'm going to kick it. Okay, Monique, this is the energy I like to see from Monique. Okay? Mandy says, Kemp, I stopped watching the show. I just watch your recaps. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Monique comes in and she says that she had to ask herself, why was she so mad at Giselle? She says that she claims that she was making herself the victim. I have to say, she did take some accountability here. She says that Giselle has a tendency to be in other people's relationships. And Giselle immediately gets defensive. No, she's right. She's right. You do. There literally is a pattern. Okay? Giselle Monique then also expresses that, she also felt sorry. She saw Grace at the Pride event and she's like, oh my God, I talked so bad about your father and here you are. And look, Monique in this conversation showed so much accountability and apology. But again, some people would say like, this is not the person that you need to show it to. This is the person that was was trying to spread a rumor that your youngest son, like she should apologize for that. Making it seem like your youngest son possibly wasn't Chris's. Okay? Like, you should apologize for that, Giselle, because she allegedly was the mastermind behind those rumors. So Monique says that she owned her actions in regards to the fight and that it triggered her. This is what triggered her spiritual journey. I just feel like Monique said a lot of this stuff right after the fight. Didn't she say that? Remember when she met with everyone and she talked about back then, this is 5 years ago, back then, why she may have been triggered by her fight with Candace. And she was talking about some of the things that she had gone through as a young woman. And I'm thinking, like, didn't you say that, though, when you had to sit down with everybody? So what's different now? But all right. So Giselle then says that she feels like maybe it was Chris that was like, why is Monique acting like this? And then she said, well, maybe it was Chris. So Giselle wants to blame Chris. What I can appreciate about Monique, she's like, no, I can't blame him for everything. But she's like, I did have to have this sort of persona in this relationship. But she said some of that also was me being a perfectionist. I have to give Monique credit is that she's not allowing this cast to dog Chris or to just blame Stacey, or she's like, well, no, I need to own what I've done and did. Maybe. 5 says she literally took accountability. 5 says she literally, meaning Monique, literally took accountability back then too. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I felt like you did in that conversation with the sit down where Giselle had the security guard because she felt unsafe. All right. Superstar 7 says, I'm sorry, but F Giselle and her kids. What? Jamal never apologized, so why should Monique? Not F the kids. No. Hey, Adrian. Can we all get a round of applause for Adrian? Adrian is this your second master's? Which one is this, Adrian? From Columbia. A round of applause to Adrian. She says, right. Where was the apology? Where was the apology for the paternity accusations? That is far more damning than what Monique said about Pastor Holy Whore. Exactly. And if you're going to issue this level of an apology, it should be to Candace. According to Monique, she says on Watch What Happens Live that Giselle, they talked about a lot more, but that wasn't shown. Excuse me? Christy says, I was proud of how Monique handled the conversation. Yeah. Foxy says, F the kids. Nope. I was like, I didn't see that part. I was reading. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. But yeah, not F the kids. We love the kids. We love the kids over here. Right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Faith the way says, she said F the kids. No, not F the kids. We love the kids over here. Exactly. 5 says, that's production doing again. I believe they cut out some part. They cut out a lot. According to Monique, they talked about everything. They talked about the binder. So, congratulations to production again for a terrible edit. But okay, somebody in that editing room loves them some Giselle, which is not unlikely because we've heard former producers come out about other shows, talk about how they would gear editing towards certain people. You know what I mean? Oh, hold on. Miss Brooklyn says Giselle got a bad edit in the sit downs, it seems. A bad edit? Not really. But maybe in her head, because they're not showing accountability, she might consider it, but who knows? Hey, Dr. Jen. Hey, that's her name. Dr. Jen says, agreed, Kempire. Monique came off my screen. That lady is 42 years old, and she needs to apologize to Candace and move on. They don't have to be friends. No, they don't. But you know what it is? I think the audience needs healing. And we've talked about this before. The audience needs healing in regards to what we've seen on this show. And the audience really became split during the Monique and Candace fight. And I don't think the audience ever really truly healed from that. And there is a way to do that, but there's got to be a lot of prep. And maybe this is the prep. Bring Monique back, have this conversation with Giselle, and then possibly bring Candace back. I definitely think Candace will come back to the show. I think Candace wants to come back to the show. I don't believe that Candace was ever fired from the show. I do believe Candace wanted to protect her gestation period and give birth without the stress of this show. Because even if you're having a good season, even if you don't have a Giselle on your cast, filming Real Housewives can be stressful. Being in the Bravo universe can be stressful. I understand that when it comes to being, a reality TV personality. It's not easy. No matter if you're having a good season, bad season, it can be easier if you're having a good season, but it can be stressful. Katrina says that Giselle will partner up with anybody who can come for Stacey. So you think that's why she's befriending Monique? But Monique's not falling for it. Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine says, Kempire, you can't believe Monique. She never takes accountability. She always tries to get ahead of her truth. All these things she's saying about Chris is to get away from the cheating accusations. She addressed that and we did a separate video where Monique talked about the allegations about her and that man that apparently was married, maybe separated. She talked about it. So we did a separate video talking about that as well. All right, let me move on because I can't not be here for too long, but we do have over 2,000 people. We're almost at 750 likes. We should try and get to 1,000 likes, but If you're a member of the channel, though, I have dropped a call link for you guys. I have to say, the Wendy and Giselle conversation, the Monique and Giselle conversation just did not land. I felt like they could have had probably an epic moment with these conversations. I don't know who was in charge of the edit and who finalized this final version of the conversation. I'm like, the only person that took accountability in that conversation was Monique. The only part that we had was Giselle say, I felt sorry. All right. All right, fine. Let's see. Kiarna's mom and Angel and Greg go shopping, okay, for an engagement ring. So last week we were talking about Kiarna saying that her priority was to get the condo, so it was either the condo or the ring. As some of you have called in regards to you that have done some digging in regards to what Greg is going through currently with his ex-wife. So apparently they're back in court over some sort of, he owes something that he's supposed to be giving in regards to the children. Okay, I don't know if it's like school, he hasn't paid that. I don't know, allegedly. So I guess this week, again, I feel like they're overcorrecting. Greg is looking at $2 million rings.
Lies! The lie!
What business is Greg in again? He has a nonprofit. He owns a nonprofit, right? What kind of nonprofit does he own? Because I need to have a better understanding. First of all, this is not a good look for him because I know IRS is probably looking at it like, look, how are you paying for this? Unless we saw Greg at the cash register paying for this ring, I don't believe he walked out of there with anything, especially when he says, you know, before I get the ring, I want to have a conversation with Kiana to make sure that this is the ring that she wants. The mother was just like, no, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. No, she wants that ring. The mother's not playing these TV games. She's like, no, buy the ring. Yeah, I dare you. Buy the ring. Because he's not getting the $2 million ring. Fine. A lot of us could not afford a $2 million ring. Fine. They were looking at it because they know you guys looking at big rings. As soon as I saw the size of the ring, I was like, he ain't getting that. I don't know what business that Greg is in. And I'm not trying to count his coins. All right? Right. SW says his face said it all. He looked nervous looking at some of those rings. And I don't think it was the nervousness like, oh, I'm not ready to get engaged. I think it was the price. But he does end up looking at rings in the $125,000 to $180,000 range. Okay. Angel is there. She's so happy to be part of this. She's like, 10 years ago, we were talking, Kiana and I, about where do we see ourselves in 10 years? And it's so interesting to be here with Michelle and you're buying the ring. I was all right. But I'm not even paying attention to what the hell Angel is saying. I'm paying attention to Greg's body language. The body language was telling me, the face was just sort of like him looking at the ring. They're talking. And he looked nervous, and not a nervous like, oh, I don't want to get married. I'm not ready to get married. I just did this, which is real. He did just go through it. He literally still going through the divorce stuff, like the aftermath of a divorce. So I can understand his hesitation. I think his hesitation there was not that. Dee said he's a social worker, but doesn't he own his own like agency or something like that? But even if he does own his own agency, it depends. Not for easy payment, Charge. Not for easy payment. Look, I love a good for easy payment. Come on now. I do love a good for easy payment. I don't know. I feel like this entire season, Kiana has been overcorrecting. All right, when it comes to what people have said. And you guys, I've never really counted his coins like that. Like his first season. I've been counting them this season, okay? Like he says, for a $2 million ring, he would need to do a wire transfer. We didn't see any of that. I don't think he was getting the $2 million ring. I think he was definitely looking at the $125,000 to $180,000 rings, okay? But I don't believe that. I really do not believe that he was going to buy the ring. We did not see him make those decisions. You literally see him say, you and I, him and the store representative, will have a conversation without them. Yeah, because he didn't get the ring that day. Are they engaged? Well, probably they're not revealing it because maybe it happens on this season. If it doesn't happen this season, But the fact that they went ring shopping says to me that that's what's going to happen. I need to see the ring. I need to see which ring he ends up getting. I don't know. Sonia says, I didn't miss the newbies in this episode. Of the newbies, we didn't have Jazzy. Well, no, Jazzy wasn't in this. I like Jazzy. I think Jazzy is a good addition to the show, y'all. I definitely think she has potential. I know people turned their lips up at what happened her last season, but no, I think she has a lot more potential to be light, fun energy for the show. Damn, okay, Danielle says, and $100K is still too much when you haven't paid for your kid's tuition. That's the rumor. That's why he's back in court, apparently. So this might put him in a bad position when it comes to what's going on with his personal life. You didn't pay your kid's tuition allegedly, and you buying $100,000 rings on reality television. I'm like, you know what I mean? And how do you feel as the mother of those children? Unless you really have money like that, how do you feel? Is there a college fund set up for those kids? Because are you just buying? I've never bought an engagement ring. What's a good price point for an engagement ring? Unless you are a person of that stature, I feel like that's a lot. How many paychecks they say it's supposed to be? Just saying. I don't know. Miss Esquire says, what's interesting about his business is that the business provides medication assisted therapy and primary medical care, although he's not a physician. Well, here's the thing. Because I come from the nonprofit world before I worked for the law firm. Maybe he has a medical doctor that works for him. So that's possible. Maybe that's the person that writes off on some of that care. So that's possible. Okay, hold on. Okay, 3 times your pay is what you guys are saying. R Bless says 6 checks. Asia says 70%, 75% of your salary. Look, I wonder. Okay, TJ says 50. Yeah, because 50, unless it was sort of like you're a celebrity of some sort. You know what I mean? Unless you're like a millionaire, then I could understand maybe like $100K ring. But are you really walking around with $100K ring? Ali says that 3 months of your gross monthly salary max. Then I don't think he should be buying that ring. He's not. Look, he's not buying that ring. Oh, okay. This wasn't to me. Okay. Let me say thank you, guys. Guys, I am going to drop the call link for the general audience. I've already dropped it for our members. Become a member today. Shout out to those of you that gifted memberships today. We greatly appreciate your support, but you can also support just by liking today's video. We are recapping the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Julianne, thank you so much for the super chat. Julianne says, I agree with that. It's like the audience wanting a Candy Fakestra sit down. Yeah. Which is unless Candy decides to come back, then you're going to get that sit down, which you never know. Now, that might be a season worth watching, but would it be real? Because let me be honest with you, Candy being a tourist, if you break our trust in such a big way, Candy will never see it for Phaedra, ever. Like, they could probably coexist on the show, but they would never go back to being as close as they were. Miss Afro Gorgeous, thank you so much for the super chat and beautiful photo. Says, I had the biggest eye roll at Greg's scene at the jeweler. Okay, so I wasn't the only one? All right. Look, I hate to be counting his coin, but you're on a reality show where you're buying stuff and we're sort of trying to understand, can you afford it? And Greg, we don't need you to do a Eddie Hennessy situation, okay? We don't need you locked up. You got kids, okay? Yeah, Tori, we did a whole recap. Tori says, Kempire, I didn't know Kimora was back on the air. You're welcome, E. Send me a check so I can do a little promo video for y'all. It's going to be like $20,000. I just saw the $20,000, so that's why I was... But not far from it. Look, it's the holidays. The price has gone up. All right. But sidebar, the other thing that stood out to me in the scene, I got a couple more scenes to go. The other thing that stood out to me in the scene was that Greg was sort of like, when asked if he was going to get the condo as well, Greg's going to buy $100,000 ring and buy her the condo. First of all, why does she need the condo? Y'all just bought this house together, right? Because I still believe her name is on this house. Why are you buying a condo if you're getting engaged? I also don't understand. Unless you bought this condo as a rent to buy, I don't understand why are we talking about buying the condo. Something's not making sense. Okay. Well, Shadrika says, Greg has an LMSW, a licensed master's in social work. Average $70,000 a year. DMV area. K, please. No, she said police. That's how she wrote it. He owns his own business. Oh, all right. So for the math is not mathing either, Shadrika, for you? Not mathing for me either. Oh. All right. Let's move on. Ashley and her sister Jessica. Jessica looks just like the mama. Okay. So Ashley talked about how Uncle Lump was always there for her, so she wants to be there for Jessica. I really like Jessica. Jessica's very likable. Okay. So they're going shopping because Jessica is going off to the University of Maryland. They end up talking about how she told her parents that she's not going to be coming back. And I know some of you can probably relate to that. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Roman says, hold on. Says, no, Greg is a LCSW -C, which is the highest level of social workers. Okay, but is he making enough to buy that ring? And he has, what, 3 kids? Doesn't he have like 2 or 3 kids? I think he has 3. The math ain't mathing, y'all. The math is not mathing. If you had told me he was an entrepreneur and he had these multiple things, the math is not mathing. Okay? Okay. All right. Whatever. It's not making sense to me, but I also think they're overcorrecting this season because so many of you were already dragging him last season for not necessarily being the best. And I feel like now they're overcorrecting. Mr. Mellon Magic said, and he still can't afford. Yeah. L says 180K is wild. Is he Rockefeller? I feel like it was a scene, y'all. It was a scene. Sarah says, I don't think Greg can afford $180K ring, but if he's been working as a social worker for, say, 15 years, he wouldn't be making 70K at this rate. He'd be at the 6 figures by now. Yeah, when we say 6 figures, he'd probably be making, let's say, 100 and something thousand, more than he has for the ring. Okay. Dina says you can own Microsoft and then you can own Open Arms LLC. That doesn't mean he has money. I love how we're just like dissecting all of this. Greg, it's okay with what you make. What we're saying is that do not go into the poorhouse trying to keep up with the Joneses. Okay? Pajamami says 125K. Well, he looked at 2 rings. One was for 125. The other one was for 180. Okay. Just say. Dina says 125 doesn't go far in the DMV. Definitely don't go far in New York City. Definitely does not go far in New York City. His bookie bear says Mia is real quiet now. For a little bit. She did post about her birthday. If you missed our updates on Mia Thornton and her arrest, check out the channel if you're new here. Let us know if you are new here as well, if you're in the chat. All right, let me move on. So Ashley has this conversation with her sister. Here's the thing. I can appreciate Ashley showing up for Jessica because that's what Uncle Lump has done for her over the years because she didn't have her father and her mother has been so entrenched in this relationship with this man that's an alcoholic, apparently, according to Ashley and according to Jessica. Jessica talks about not wanting to come back home and she gets really emotional talking about it because that's her biological father. And she doesn't want to be around him. She doesn't understand why he doesn't change, doesn't, do something better for himself because he's been an alcoholic apparently for many, many decades at this particular point. And Ashley, she updates Jessica on her breaking up with Josh, but Jessica never really liked Josh. She didn't think he was that good looking. All right. You got 2 scenes with Ashley. Okay. 2 scenes with Ashley. But I thought it was a valid scene. It makes sense to what she's been talking about these last couple of episodes in regards to her mother and her mother's relationship. But I said this last week. Her mother's not going to change. And it makes you understand why Ashley doesn't want to be with someone that's not financially secure, that's not financially doing better than she is. Okay? So I'm not surprised that Ashley has a perspective that she doesn't want to be like her mom. She doesn't want to make the same mistakes as her mom. She doesn't want to end up under a bridge like her mom did. You know what I mean? So some people either end up making the same mistakes as their parents or learning from those mistakes and saying, or course correcting since I do not want to do that. So, and I don't think Sheila's going to change. Oyen says, Sheila has caused so much trouble in her kids' lives. Talk about putting a man above all else. And I don't think people talk enough about that. We were talking about that with Brittany, but maybe we have, and I just haven't seen you guys talk about it. But basically, if anything, Brittany is far better than Sheila. So you're staying in a relationship with an alcoholic that's not paying for anything, and your daughter doesn't want to come back home? So, I don't know. Fifi says that Candy needs to use Michael Darby's lawyers. Based on what I've heard, Candy's lawyer is not bad at all. Don't worry about Candy. Okay? You also want a lawyer that can practice in the state of Georgia. I don't know if Michael Darby's lawyers can. Hey, Ann Watson says, thanks, Kempire. My workday is going by fast because we're here. I've already been talking for almost an hour and a half. So I want to move on because then we're going to get to callers. So keep liking the video, guys. Since we're almost at 900 likes, let's get to 900 likes and I'll drop the call link for the general audience. But if you're a member, I've dropped the call link for you guys. We already have a long line. The backstage is already full with our members. So thank you to everyone that are members. Let me get through these last couple of scenes really quickly. But first, thank you, AG, for the... HG. Thank you so much for the super chat. I think Greg will get Kay a shut up ring, but won't actually marry her. He's been dragging his feet for some time now. I don't even know if she wants to get married, to be honest, because she had put her foot down and then she still got back with him. She even moved out. Miss Afro, gorgeous. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I agree. The overcorrection is so obvious with Kay. It's so obvious this season. And honestly, I don't, even if she gets engaged this season, I don't care. I don't, no. Y'all should have kept her as a friend of, even as a friend of. I don't enjoy her. Keith, thank you so much for another super chat. Keith says, for Greg to be looking at 100K rings, I would think that he would have had lotion for his ashy I'm surprised Michael is in his 60s. I thought he was 85. We've talked about Gollum. Okay, he needs to moisturize. Butter. Head on over to butterskin.com and use our discount code for 10% off. Kempire 10. The holidays are right around the corner. They have all really kind of great, like little stocking stuffers as well, guys. So head on over while supplies last because things are going fast and time is running out. It's December 8th. How many days till Christmas? Hold on. 17 days till Christmas. 17 days till Christmas, y'all. You don't got time. Go get your stuff. And if you're looking for Kempire merch, go get your Kempire merch. Well, okay, this is not Kempire merch, but go get your Kempire merch at housekempire.com. All right. Yeah. You're right. Famalayo says that ring shopping was a reaction to Stacey saying, go chase after Greg. Go beg. All right, let me move on really quickly. So Wendy and Eddie head to his pop-up. I'm assuming that the pop-up is happening at the same... I don't think it did. That they're having the Happy Eddie pop-up and Stacey's launch party as well at the same time. But it's the same scene. Same topic that they're talking about each other at the same time. But I don't believe they had it on the same day. I think Wendy could have made it to Stacey's event. So Eddie has a new strain called the Nutty Professor. Stacey didn't invite Wendy because she felt like it would be a conflict of interest in business. See, Stacey, this is why I can't trust you. That makes no sense to me. It doesn't. Because here's the thing. This was a public event. Anyone, even your competitors, could have come to this event and it would have been a conflict of interest. I found that to be weird. I would have understood if you said I couldn't invite you when they flash back and they show Stacey making her weed line, her gummies. Then I could understand. But this was just a launch event where people would be testing out the product, buying the product. The product is going to be available to the world. You had a whole line of strangers coming in for this event. So you saying that Wendy couldn't come? Wendy really took it on the chin. She's like, I don't care. She's like, she's gotten enough information out of me already. She doesn't need me anymore. I love the fact that she's not letting it bother her. Okay? And Watson says, they was weird to say. That was weird to say. It was. I'm like, Miss Esquire says, it would have been wonderful to have Eddie there. And that's the other thing, too. Wendy's not even the owner of the business. She might be on paper, but she's not actively involved. To me, that was such a weird thing. I don't know if there was some other reason. It was weird. It was weird to not have Wendy there. Okay. If anything, now more than ever, I would have had Wendy there to show your alliance with Wendy. But okay. All right. It doesn't. I keep telling you guys, some of these moments that happen on the show, I'm trying to put aside these allegations against Wendy. But when Wendy is buying Happy Eddie and she's just like, I don't remember my PIN. And she puts in the PIN and it says invalid. She's like, I don't remember my PIN. She's like, I normally use credit, but you can't use credit. I don't even think you can use normally like the weed shops, you have to use cash or something like that. Anyway, so she's like, I don't know my PIN. And Wendy's just like, in my head, I'm watching, I'm like, these allegations. I say, is it Pam Oliver's PIN? Eddie Hennessy's PIN? Because the prosecution is accusing them of using these aliases for ill-gotten gain. They've come out and said that that's not true. They only use that for because they're public figures in regards to package deliveries and things like that. Okay? Exactly. Is because apparently they had over 40 credit cards. 40 credit cards. But my thing is, even if you have many credit cards, how many debit cards you have? Those are the ones that, no, some of your credit cards you can put a PIN on. Okay, Crystal says, yeah, that was suspect. It didn't land. I was like, which one? Which account are you using today? Poppy says the editors deserve a raise. Like, we're giving them a raise and then we're taking that money back for that damn scene with Monique and Giselle. Right? 40 credit cards. So that didn't land. They left that in on purpose, editors. Y'all left that in on purpose. Stephanie says, now she forgot Pam's PIN at the dispensary. She did. Hold on. I had that. Look.
Who said that?
When did she say that? You did.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So they talk about Stacey's line, Wendy and Eddie, and she was mentioning it to the other people there at the pop-up event, okay? So then Stacey has her launch party. She arrives. She sees the long line of people that are waiting for her launch party. She says that Wendy she says to Ashley, Wendy couldn't be here, but she's very celebratory. I thought that was weird because they know that it would have been weird if she had said to them, I told Wendy not to come because, a conflict of interest. Stacey be lying. Okay. She definitely lies. Okay. And I just found that to be a weird response. You should have just had Wendy there. It would have been better if you she has a conflict of interest in regards to a conflict in her schedule. But okay. Stacey says that because Tia arrives and she asks about Timo and Timo isn't there. And, he's traveling as he always is. Again, I understand why Timo doesn't want to film with these women because he also doesn't want to be questioned about their relationship and things like that. All right. Ashley and Stacey have a side conversation, and apparently one of the dresses that Ashley wore just the week before, Stacey is wearing. And she's like, "You want to be me?" And then she's like, "Oh yeah, you got my same." They literally had the same wig. It felt like. And so she's like, "Oh yeah, you want to be me?" And she's like, "No, no." Ashley says, "Okay." So Ashley and Stacey have a conversation about the conflicts that they've been having. So Stacey pulls her to the side to have the conversation, and she says that Ashley says that there are instances that make her see Stacey in a different light. Okay, Stacey says that everything that they've brought so far against her has been proven false. Here's my issue though with Kiarna and Ashley. I understand that maybe you don't like Stacey, maybe you see inconsistencies with Stacey, but the vitriol that you guys have, last week Kiarna called her a fake AB, fake ass B word. And then this week, Ashley's calling Stacey a lying ass hoe. Why such vitriol? Why such disgust for Stacey? And Stacey hasn't directly done anything to you guys. Now, if Wendy said it, I could understand. If TJ said it, I could understand. I could understand. But you guys have such anger towards Stacey, and I think it's because every time you come for her, it keeps falling flat. So that's why you have, like, you're calling her a lying ass hoe? Like, those are fighting words. A lying ass hoe? And why I gotta be a hoe? But okay. Exactly. Miss Esquire says that Ashley is committed to disliking Stacey, and it makes no sense. I can say the same for Giselle, because Giselle says Giselle says that Stacey, you can't have your husbands or children around Stacey, and I'm like, children? What? But okay. Moving on from there. So they go back and forth, and AJ's like, what is happening? Because it gets heated. So they decide to just let it go. Ashley says, claims that in the group, they've held her feet to the fire, and that this is what they do as friends to get to know each other. That's unhealthy, Ashley. It's very unhealthy the way. If this is your way of trying to get to know Stacey, no. It's not working. Superstar 7 says the verbal abuse towards Stacey is getting uncomfortable to watch because Stacey never talks to them in that manner. Exactly. It's crazy. Miss Esquire says that comment by Giselle was nasty work. Not safe around husbands or children. All right. So Stacey decides to have a conversation with Tia. And this conversation goes left really quickly. Okay? And here's the thing. I can understand where Stacey may have not wanted to bring Timo around Wendy, because I almost completely forgot why Timo or Stacey might not see it for Eddie, because of what Eddie did at the reunion, bringing TJ's tea. Okay? So I didn't even think about that, because I was like, you and Wendy are in a better space. But she says Timo doesn't, the comfort levels with Timo when it comes to being around Wendy and Eddie might not be good because of what happened at the reunion. I was like, okay, I could see that. But I feel like you and Wendy have started garnering a new friendship. Okay, even though, she was mad. She was mad. That's why she unfollowed me, because I brought the information. I got the tea about the reunion, what went down at the reunion. And she got mad at me. Oh,
poor behavior.
Sorry, I didn't mean to press that button. I meant to press this one.
Fuck your flowers.
Oh. All right. I don't know if I 100% believe Stacey when she says that's her excuse for not wanting to hang out with Wendy and Eddie. I don't know if I believe that 100%. But I could, if I was to try and believe it, I'd be like, all right. Dina says that Stacey lies to protect others' feelings. Really? Look, really? I don't know. I think it's to protect her feelings. But here's the thing, too. When it comes to the Timo of it all, we've said this before. I could understand as a couple why Timo is like, I don't want to be a part. I will film with you, but I really don't want to film with them. I could understand where she's sort of going by following his lead, and how couples work together. Like, yeah, you don't want to go, or yeah, it's time to leave. You're alive for your partner. Okay, so I can understand that aspect of it all. And I also don't feel like the issues between Tia and Stacey are that deep. Hence why this situation, this scene going left, I don't feel it was necessary. I feel like Stacey definitely plotted and planned this. That was the only reason why she invited Tia. She planned this the entire time to kick her out. The conversation between Tia and Stacey goes left very quickly. Okay? She believes that Tia overstepped because she's trying to make her way in the group. Tia claims that Stacey on the phone says that you have to have her back with the ladies. And Stacey says that's a lie. I've never said that. And Tia's trying to explain what happened, and Stacey's not letting her speak. Okay? And Tia's just like, would you shut up? And she's like, see, this is the real Tia. One thing I will give Tia is that she's able to handle her own. And despite what, people might think of her as a personality on the show, I think she's a good addition. She's probably one of the best additions of this new season, okay, when it comes to the newbies. But I do feel like she, with everyone telling her stuff, and she said she was trying to keep an open mind. I think she should still keep an open mind. But after this argument, I was just like, Stacey, you're doing a little too much. I don't feel like it needed to go to this level where you kicked her out. I do feel like you guys could have resolved your issues because I don't believe your issues with Tia are that deep. It didn't need to go to this level. If anyone that you should have been kicking out of that event, it should have been Ashley because she's dead set on having an issue with you. And I think the only reason why you didn't kick Ashley out is because you feel like Tia is lower on the totem pole. So you're like, you sort of, getting rid of her. Megan says that Tia is kind of bland for my taste, but not everyone on a reality show needs to be theatrical or over the top. She's going to bring a balance for at least I believe that they need on the show. But at the same time, although she's going to bring balance, she's also not going to let you punk her. And we've seen that. K-Baby says, toodle-doo. Yeah, because she's like, toodle-doo, Stacey says to Tia. And Tia's just like, I'm leaving. Roman says that I think Stacey is fed up. I agree Ashley should have been kicked out as well. If anything, I could see that conversation going left before, because I feel like Tia and Stacey could have come to some sort of agreement and just been dead with it. And here's the other aspect. Stacey, I know you're riding high off the fans loving you, but as much as they love you today, they can hate you tomorrow. Okay? The other aspect is here. No matter how the fans feel about you, that's not going to save your position on the show. I.e., Katie over there in Orange County. None of those people wanted to film with her, get along with her. And now for season 20, word on the street, Katie's not coming back. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the word on the street. But you saw how all the fans were Team Katie, Team Katie. People might be and now look, I'm not agreeing with the pile-on with you. We've been talking about this. They're not agreeing. You still need to be able to get along with a good amount of the ladies. It can't just be Wendy, because like I said, we don't even know if Wendy's going to come back next season. I think she will. But is that the only person that you get along with on this group? That's not a way to survive on this show. Even if you're not best friends with Tia, you could have at least been amicable with Tia. She's someone else. Because again, you guys aren't seeing it because of the way it's edited, but word on the street, people weren't filming with Stacey. And it wasn't them icing her out. We can see that they were definitely piling on with her this season, but you still need to be able to navigate a relationship with all the people in this group. And right now, the only person you're able to navigate a relationship with is Wendy. Because word on the street, you also have a falling out with Jazzy this season. Hence why we don't see Jazzy and Stacey and Wendy together. So I believe the rumors that you have a falling out with Jazzy too. You still need to be able to navigate a friendship with this group. And the fact that Cookie can't see it for you and Cookie has the ear of Karen, it makes me wonder where you and Karen will be. Yes, they took pictures at BravoCon together, but it makes me wonder, and I'm sure Karen will say this to Stacey as well. You still need to be able to get along with this group and move forward. I felt like at your event, this was a perfect opportunity for you and Tia to move forward because your issues weren't that deep. And again, if you were planning to kick anyone out, it should have been Ashley. But you probably thought you couldn't kick Ashley out because they probably told Ashley she had to be there, right? Yeah. My nose is itching me. All right. Exactly. Ocean's Dreaming says yes. Tia seems less toxic. But anyway, I feel like, Stacey, you do watch. So if you're trying to navigate this group at the reunion, this is where you can at least foster your way forward for next season. Tia might be your way in. Right? Yeah. I definitely don't see a way in through Giselle. Definitely, I can see a way in through you and Monique. But even Monique coming in as a friend of, you still need to have solid relationships with the other full-time housewives. Even if you don't necessarily see it for each other like that, you can't continue on an island by yourself. That's not going to be enough to survive for next season. Ask Wendy. She'll tell you. All right. Let me say thank you, and then we're going to get to the callers. Guys, just joined. That's how the episode ended, for those that didn't realize. The episode ended with this big fight between Stacey and Tia. Tia is kicked out of the Spacey Stacey event, and she leaves. Okay, she says, toodle-doo. All right. Amber the Sag, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Amber says, Stacey's non-answer about her ownership stake reminded me why I don't like her. She answers questions she wasn't asked, just like a politician. This is true. And if you were at our DC show when Stacey came up on stage and we interviewed her, she was definitely giving us politician answers. Chris, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Chris says, them mentioning Stacey being from Detroit like it's something negative bothers me. Kay did it, and she's from Baltimore. Is that better? Well, when we mention Detroit, we don't mean it in that way. We mean it like they can fight. They ain't no punks. Right, Miss Bernice? Miss Bernice is in the chat. All right, let's get to the call because I have to be live again at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I got a bunch of stuff to do this week. So stay tuned, guys. A lot of good things are happening for the new year. All right, a lot of amazing things. And we have quite a few members backstage. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Once we get to 1,000 likes, I'll drop the call link for the general audience, but we have quite a few members. So thank you all for being members. I did post the call-in link on the community tab. Let's get to it. At members, you have 30 seconds, okay? But since she just graduated, we're going to bring up Adrienne first. She just graduated, so congratulations to Adrienne. Adrienne, what's going on?
Hey, baby, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me hurry up. So first of all, I wanted to say, Ashley, I'm ready for her to go, but I can see why she's scratching and clawing. And it's not just about she doesn't want to be Sheila. She also is taking care of a lot of people in that family.
Yes.
She needs this job, especially now she's divorced from Grolum. But I just feel like Sheila and those types of mothers, this male-identified pick-me, but she done those girls so wrong. And my heart broke watching Jessica sit up there crying, looking just like Sheila, because I think this is the tent man. This is the man she was in the tent with. She's been in the trenches literally with this man. He's an alcoholic. She coughing up blood the last episode. This is a mess. So even though I feel bad for Ashley, she still need to go, but I feel bad for the situation. Yeah. One thing, like I said about Monique and the whole binder thing, if I remember correctly, the woman that she called out that said that that Jamal told her was fake, that's the woman he ended up marrying. That's the minister he married. That was the girlfriend at the time. I remember the blogs were like, oh yeah, that's a minister. Her name is da-da-da-da-da. That's the woman he married. Yep. If you go back,
that looks just like Giselle.
Blog, that's who looked at, because they're both AKAs. Yeah, he got a type all right. In terms of the weed thing, this is one thing I will say about this. I don't like this thing with Black people where there can only be one. I don't like that. If you really, first of all, that's not what business is. I just came from business school. That's not what real business is. That's not what competition is. That's not what capitalism is. And even if you look at in history, like Black Wall Street and some of our really affluent, there were multiple Black-owned restaurants, multiple Black-owned theaters, multiple Black grocery stores. This whole, I don't know where we got this thing of where we have to split the vote. We have to split our loyalty. We can only choose one. That's ridiculous. That's something white people told us. We don't have to do that. I understand it's awkward within a friend group, but just in general, I think we need to get over that anyway. And speaking of Stacey and her lies, like you said, if they want to continue with the lie that she didn't pay TJ, then I can see Timo being a little apprehensive. But where she messed up was in playing in Tia's face about it. Yeah. So Tia, to me, is the only one that has the right to be kind of salty with her. Everybody else is doing entirely too much. Stacey's little lies ain't hurting nobody. Like, why are they going so hard? I don't like that. Like somebody else said, it's starting to become uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. But anyway, with that, I'll go. So I'm done with school. I'm finished now. So I can join you for Pilates.
Yeah. I'll text you. Text me,
babe. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Adrienne. Take care.
Bye.
Shout out to Adrienne. Adrienne also came to my last New York City show. Adrienne always shows support. Adrienne is one of the OGs here on the channel. All right. Let me bring up Elle My Bell next. Elle, you're not going to get that much time. She just graduated.
Okay. Hi. I just wanted to go on to the marijuana business thing. So I'm in Virginia. It's very hard here because you cannot distribute for recreational use here in Virginia. So if you look at her website for Shio, it is basically once you connect, it's all medical distribution. You have to be a medical use. And so for her to be the first, congratulations, but it's very difficult here. We're getting a new governor in January, so this may change in a matter of months. But that's probably why she has a team behind her, and she's able to pull that off. And then I don't know about the Nutty Professor strain. Last time I checked, that was a franchise of movies, you know.
Oh, damn. Good point. Thanks, Elle.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's good. That's some information. All right, let's bring up our legal eagle, Miss Esquire. Miss Esquire, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good. So I just want to say Ashley is male-centered, but just in a different way than her mom. Her mom is willing to be with a man whether he can take care of her or not. Ashley is only willing to choose a man if he can take care of her. That's just a different way of centering a man in your life. Potato, potato, we all fall down. My issue with Stacey and the people having an issue with Stacey is, let's go through her lies. TJ is a fake relationship, check. Other people have had that. Copy Wendy's business, 3-wick candles, check. Other people have done that. Revealed, something that the girl group said is a girl code violation. Other people have done that. And pursuing a man right outside of a divorce. I want y'all to go back and check the day that Kay said her and Greg started dating. And I want you to go check his divorce date. It's less than a month later. I'm a little obsessed with going through their divorce proceedings.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Kay last season said, me and Greg have been together 3 years as of this specific date, I went back to the divorce and I was like, I wonder when his divorce was final. It's a month later, their anniversary date. So, ma'am, don't be clocking nobody's tea about dating some man who is recently out of divorce, because I'd hate to go a little bit further into your relationship with Greg and find out when y'all really started dealing with each other. Now, he might have been separated and going through his divorce, but I doubt that he was actually divorced. So you just focus on getting your cloudy diamond and stay out of other people's business. That's all.
Thanks, Miss Esquire.
Bye.
Bye. We gave Miss Esquire more time because she digs into the legal docs. Okay. All right. Let's bring up Angel. Angel with the mugshots.
Hey, Kempire.
What's going on?
So I'm giving the episode an 8 only because Kay and Eeyore weren't in the episode, so that boosted the ratings up. But Greg and Kay will be broken up before the reunion or by the reunion, in my opinion, because if he is overcorrecting because of her, and Miss Esquire will know, tell us when the next hearing date is, ex-wife is coming after him. I don't care if it was fake or not. If you're acting like you have enough money in your budget to charge $2 million rings plus buy condos, and are not taking care of your children sufficiently, boy, it's over for you. And that is it. Oh, and then Ashley, too little, too late. Thank you for the vulnerability, but we should have got that like 8 seasons ago. Ooh. That's it.
Thanks, Angel. Damn, y'all are tough. All right, Tish is backstage. Tish, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I am just here to say that I feel like this is a slight vindication for Tia because Stacey did lie at that pool. She did lie, and she was trying to shut Tia up because she knew that this is the one instance that her lie would absolutely be exposed. And with that said, I also feel like Stacey is the reason why Greg had to go do that ring shopping scene, because Kiana went home and cried when she went home and cried when Stacey said, "You don't have one." So I feel like Stacey's the catalyst for that. And with that said, toodle-doo. I'm gone.
Thanks, Tish. Take care. All right. Noda Queen is backstage. Noda Queen, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first I want to start with my comment about Reddit and Tia was not a joke. They were actually saying, like, in Nigeria, that the royal family is like, it's not a distinct royal family in Nigeria. It's like you're the royal of like your specific town or city or something like that. And it's just a title and very arbitrary. So they're saying it's on the same level as Karen being the Grand Dame, for real, for real. Now, actual Nigerians can tap in because, this is secondhand information, whatever. But yeah, that's how they were explaining it. Also, I want to point out that...
What did you want to finish your last thought?
Giselle during her sit down with Monique, she was saying, oh, there was a lot more hatred coming from your side than mine. And that's why I don't like Giselle, because she does this evil, hateful stuff, but she does it so blasé and carelessly. And she wants everybody else to compartmentalize it the way that she does and doesn't expect these reactions from them. But that's all.
Thanks, Soda Queen. All right, let's bring Amina up next. Amina, what did you want to share? Amina, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, how are you doing?
And how are you?
I agree with everything the caller said, but the way that Greg was looking nervous, I was started sweating. I was like, oh no. I was stressed. I was like, no. And they should be really careful not to pressure him into ending up with a mugshot. Because you really have, I am a firm believer of living beneath your means. I follow Jay-Z's advice. If I can't afford to buy something twice, that means I can't afford it.
Ooh.
And Greg cannot afford even a quarter of that ring, so he needs to chill out. Because I was stressed. I was like, I need a Xanax. I'm stressed. I was so stressed in that jewelry shop. I was like, run for the hills. You can't afford this.
Oh my God. He didn't buy that ring. Thanks, Amina. Toya's backstage. Toya, what did you want to share? Toya, you're muted. Toya, see? Toya. We'll come back to you, Toya. Miss Bernice, how are you?
What up, though, everybody? Season's greetings.
You too.
Okay, let me get this right. Okay, since it's the season, I'm finna run down on these hoes. You got the old hoe that don't have a good relationship with her ex-husband going after Stacey. And then you got the new trailer park hoe who's going after Stacey. The common denominator is Stacey has a healthy relationship with her ex-husband. And they're good with each other. And these two hoes don't have that. That's why they're going so hard at Stacey. The other ones are just tagging on because of those two. But ex-wife 1 hoe and ex-wife 2 hoe mad at Stacey because she still got what they all want. That's why they coming down on Stacey. But other than that, when they say about Detroit, yes, we can fight. But most important, we don't care what you think about us.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Miss Bernice.
That's about it. Season greetings, Capricorn season. Hello.
It's not Capricorn season yet.
Okay, I'm jumping aboard. It's still SAG, but it's December.
Okay. Happy early birthday.
Thank you so much.
Cute Potato on Twitch says, ho, 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 'tis the season. Not about a ho, my Lord. All right. All right, Nia's backstage. Let's bring Nia up next. Nia, what did you want to share?
Like, how can I follow up with that, Kempire? Like, Miss Bernice? I can't. Okay, anyways, hey, Kempire. I think Giselle likes women who are divorced or miserable like her, hence why she got at Karen, Wendy, and Candace's relationship. I like Monique, but I do want the drag me Monique back. I don't watch reality TV for people to get along respectfully. Ashley, girl, just admit that you like a rich senior citizen. Just say it. On Love Hotel, you loved when that old elderly man growled in your ear. I was like, what is happening? I'm like, Kempire is right. You're a weirdo. Like, I'm genuinely confused. Kiana seems like she ran back to, I think Miss Bernice said, Charlie Brown, Greg, and cried after Stacey, made fun of their non-relationship. And yeah, I do like AJ. He seems like a real one. And yeah, overall, episode 3 out of 10. Just move on from Stacey. Bye, Kempire.
Thanks, Nia. Y'all are about. Let me try Toya again. Hold on, Toya. There we go. There we go. What's going on?
Hi, I'm not sure what happened. I couldn't hear you.
It's okay.
I logged back out and logged back in. Okay, I have an unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of Stacey anymore because why would she not invite Wendy to the event as a conflict of interest?
Said that.
Wendy said that she doesn't have a problem with it. She does things a little copycat because it is. But again, it's room for everybody, but why not invite her? I feel like if you have that thought in your mind because it's subconscious because you probably did copycat her. Like, let's be real. Why would you even think that way? And the line is really Eddie's thing. It's not really Wendy's thing. It's Eddie's thing, and Wendy's just supporting him. And why would she not invite her only ally and the person that doesn't seem to really care?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Also, the money is not money in with Greg. $130K for a ring when you have 3 kids, divorced, and you pay in alimony and all, whatever. Like, the math ain't mathing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Check the finances. Don't make men pay above and beyond. Don't make anybody pay above and beyond for a ring. Make sure they get what they can afford comfortably. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye, Toya. I think it was a scene that Todd set up for them to come to us with the BS to see. Let's bring up April Aries. April Aries, what did you want to say about Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
So I wanted to say that this episode was a 6.5, and I think that Stacey is starting to get a little bit worn down because she's getting piled on. I could definitely see in that last season. And just like Miss Bernice said, but I'm going to say it tamer, Megamind, aka Ashley, is popping her kitty on a handstand for old people. So you cannot sit out here and comfort nobody in how to get their living boo when you did it. You just need to learn how to do it better. And that's all I had to say. Have a good day, Kempire.
Thanks, April Aries. I even put the timer on. All right, let's bring up Keith. Keith, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first of all, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care about Stacey doing these little white lies because you would have thought she was lying about her child's paternity or lying about another cast member's child's paternity. You know, so I really don't mind that she's lying about her husband being the reason why she can't come to an event. I mean, I use my man all the time not to come to an event. But you see, I keep my story straight. So, Stacey, if you're going to do these white lies, the least you can do is actually remember the white lie you told. But also, I want to say, Ashley, I just want to know from you and from everyone else in the chat, do you think it's somewhat incest adjacent to purposely only want to date older white men, knowing that her father is an older white man? I don't know. It just seems weird dating someone that is as old as your father and wanting to date them and have them take care of you.
Well, I don't know if we would say it's that, but we would definitely say that she has daddy issues.
Yes, daddy issues. She have a lot of issues, but daddy issues is the one we're going to focus on right now.
Thanks, Keith. Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye. The Virgo's always becoming reading. Don't get in a fight with a Virgo. Okay. All right. Taurus with a T. Oh, finally, a Taurus is here. Hey, Taurus with a T.
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I couldn't hear any of the other callers.
Yeah.
I just want to say this episode, honestly, it felt like a filler episode. I saw that Monique on the after show said that Giselle was very apologetic. I wish we would have seen that because it seemed like Monique was the only one taking accountability for their issue.
Mm-hmm.
But really, in regards to Kiarna, she has the same amount of self-esteem that Ashley mom has because there is no way that you get into an argument with a woman and she tells you to go home and run and beg to a man who's obviously very unsure about you, and you do just that. And they said in the very beginning of the season, last week, that Greg is a LCSW. There is no way that he could afford a $125,000 ring. And her mom looks like she's not going to be pleased with it any way that it goes. So it was just very embarrassing. And Angel being there, she needs a stylist. She always look a mess.
Damn. Thanks, Taurus and the T. Bye. I did see the Angel posted a new picture over the weekend. She looked beautiful in it. Just saying. Okay. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. We'll get back to the callers. Squirtle 101, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Squirtle says Tia started the fight really with Stacey when she flipped out on Stacey at Giselle's event. I think Stacey saw that, if you recall, Tia only got activated when Giselle came around. I also feel like Tia's reaction was over the top for what it was, and then her saying that she didn't want to explore a friendship with Stacey anymore. And it's like, I don't think it's that deep. But again, we're seeing an edited version of the drama. Thank you so much, Squirtle, for the super chat. B says, Kempire, I was notified that my butter purchase from your live last week is out for delivery today. I love it, guys. If you missed it, we did a whole live sale for Cyber Monday with our friends over at Butterskin. If you missed it, sorry, but you missed out all kinds of discounts and giveaways and all kinds of stuff. But you can still use the Kempire 10 discount code for 10% off. Get a gift for yourself. Get a gift. They have stocking stuffers and things like that as well. I'm gonna go do a big order this week too. I couldn't do it because I was working the Cyber Monday deal. And I meant to do it later on that day, but I had a busy day, so I forgot. Whoa. More information on your discount will be available in the description. All right, Crystal, thank you so much for the super chat. Crystal says, "Thank you so much for an amazing show. You had me cracking up." Hashtag Stacey be lying, but we don't mind. Hashtag Stacey be lying, but we don't mind it. I think, again, I feel like the pileup is what's turning fans against everyone else. And it's especially because every lie that they claim that they have on Stacey ends up falling flat for the most part. 9 out of 10. Allie, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Allie says, Stacey and Eddie have brand deals. Stacey has been the only one to refer to her as one, while people believe Happy Eddie is a full-fledged dispensary. Yeah. Basically. Yeah, they're not. You're right. Dina, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Dina says, Shio's owners might not want their competitors there. McD's was my client, and we could not bring McDonald's was my client. We could not bring Burger King in the building. Yeah, but this is not. I still feel like that doesn't make any sense. I don't think because any of those people that were online could have been another brand for all we know. It doesn't land. I feel like that was not a good excuse. But again, Wendy wasn't bothered by it. Noda Queen, thank you so much for another super chat. Noda Queen says, Ashley is definitely looking to marry her father. She even said that she saw Michael as a father figure. Throwing up face emoji. I think it's so clear. You don't need a psychology degree to figure out what's going on with Ashley and why she wants the type of man that she wants. All right, let me get to the rest of these callers. Miss Brooklyn Diamond, thank you so much for your gift of memberships. We appreciate you. What's going on?
Not a problem. Happy holidays, everyone.
You too.
Gonna keep it short and sweet. When it comes to Stacey, my issue with her is the same issue I had with Kenya her first year. You came in first year lying with the fake boyfriend and couldn't own it. Right there, you lose my trust. And it seems like she lies about everything for no reason. That's what I can't with her. Ashley, until you said it, I never really thought into Ashley's issues, but I kind of feel sorry for her because she is taking care of her whole family. She married a man for the reason of taking care of her own family because she was in her mid-20s when she married this man. Yeah. And I really think the only reason she married him was to get her family on her feet. She's never had to take care of herself. She's always been responsible for taking care of everyone else. And her own father rejected her and rejected her to her face. It's very different when you don't grow up in a household with your dad or you never know your dad and, you're growing up in that way. But to have your father reject you to your face is, even as an adult, I can imagine that is emotionally just soul-wrenching. So I kind of feel bad for Ashley because I don't think she's ever received the tools, the guidance, or anything necessary for her to become a well-rounded human being. Like she's been the adult when she should have been the child her entire life. And that's a scary thing. And this is what happens for mothers out there, for fathers out there. This is what happens when you put the burden of your kid's life of your life on your child before your child is ready to carry that burden. Yeah. And for people with Greg, I did a little dive into Greg. You don't have his net worth, but here's what they have listed for him. He is the founder and CEO of Diggs Black Diamonds Home Improvement and Landscaping Enterprises. He owns a mental and behavioral health facility. He has an extensive education background, including a Master's of Science in Ocean Systems Management, another MS in Naval Architecture from MIT. So the man's not stupid. And we very well may not know what he actually is worth. And he may be able
that landscaping business might make him be able to afford that ring.
Yeah, so his only line of income isn't from his social work license. He owns the facility, so he's making money off of other people making money. And, who else know, we don't know what else. That's just a short deep dive. So I'm not going to sit up here and say he can't afford a $180,000 ring, because he very well may be able to afford that. But the biggest
should he be spending that kind of money when you're in the middle of being accused of not paying for your kids' schooling?
That's a whole different discussion. Who knows where that money is hiding? Because you've seen men, I'll put it this way. Elon Musk is worth billions of dollars on paper. He does not have billions of dollars. And that's how the wealthy move. They're worth more than what you can actually see in their bank accounts.
Yeah.
You'll never see a whole lot of money in their bank accounts, but you'll see the money in portfolios as of stocks here, stocks there, stocks everywhere.
Lines of credit.
Yeah, exactly. So, when you look at people and how they move and how the wealthy move and how people who really have money move, especially people who are in the midst of divorces or, like you said, with child support issues, they quote unquote hide money. But the fact is their money isn't liquid money.
No.
It's tied up in investments and things like that. So I don't know, but I want to tell women, stop pursuing the diamonds, because the diamonds, anybody will tell you, the diamonds are not what holds value. It's the metal. The diamonds are damn near worthless, especially with the lab grown diamonds. Diamonds really do not hold the value. The value is in the metal. So look past the diamond and look towards the metal that it's on and what the metal is worth, because that's what's going to gain in value. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. All right, let's get to the callers. I gave her extra time. Y'all not going to get the extra time. Line in the back, okay? Lovely C's backstage. Lovely C, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Hey, Kempire family. I'm going to break this down real quick and soon quickly. The first beginning of the show, Giselle gives me that her reading comprehension is on a second grade level. With Ashley and her sister, that's ridiculous. Do not bring my sister on there and crying in front of these people like Mia had her mama crying in front of these people on stage so you can get a moment. And you got your sister looking like she shopped at Goodwill. You got Clarence, her boyfriend, he wanted to moonwalk back out that store, and they paid more for that champagne than he's going to pay for that ring because it's going to come from a girl. And I'm sorry about that. And with Stacey, yeah, Stacey, you do lie, but I get it. Stacey lies because these people keep coming for her. And Tia is just a sour tea bag that keep coming for no reason. Maybe she wanted to have that discussion with Tia without Stewie being there, because she was eating it up like it was nothing. And I think they need to go buy some more wigs, because I'm tired of seeing them some synthetic crimp wigs that would bust in flames if they pass past a candle. That's all I got.
Thanks, Lovely C. Damn. TJ's backstage. TJ, what did you want to share? Not the TJ. What's going on?
I said damn after the last caller. Okay, but one thing, I think Kiana's going to buy that ring. Kiana's the one who's going to pay for that ring, not Greg. Watch. And then also about Ashley. I feel sorry for her situation, but I don't feel sorry for her. She has a nasty attitude. And for somebody who goes through a lot like that, you would think that she would be treating people better. You would think, even if she shades and shit, you would think that maybe she would shade, but she would be empathetic a little bit. So I just can't. And then Tia, remember that tea that you shared in your last recap about people in Reddit? I was in the Reddit streets and people are tearing her up. The Nigerians are like, girl, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. So that last caller that I was talking about her lying, she be lying. So maybe I get why Stacey went up on her. It's all good.
Oh, Lord.
Stacey's a liar. We know Stacey's a liar, but it's all good. We enjoy her lying. She just needs to
for
take
now.
her time like we do. But we enjoy it for now. Cool.
Thanks,
It's all
TJ.
good. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. All right. Audrey's backstage. Audrey, what did you want to share?
Hey there, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Merry Christmas. Just really quickly, I want to go back to watch what happens live.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't watch it. I just watched the clips.
Mhm.
I'm really concerned, I always go into the media part of it. I'm really concerned with the fact that they are even allowing this whole like revamped Zen Monique to come. She has no accountability for what she did to Candace. That's a Black woman who attacked another Black woman on national television. And if you remember, just really quickly, when that fight happened, remember, not only did she attack Candace, but then she had to be held back. Then she ran after her and said on camera, mic'd up, I'm going to kill that BITC. You remember that? Really quickly, I think that's very violent. I think she should be nowhere near Bravo anymore. And I feel badly for Candace because this woman has never been held accountable for her bad behavior. And it's bad TV. I don't like watching it. And I just want this off my screen. Bring back Candace. But that's all I have to say. Bye, Kempire. Have a great day, hon.
You too, Audrey. Take care. And there are a lot of people that agree with Audrey and agreed with what Audrey had to say from back then when the fight happened. All right, let me bring up Tons Trinigal. What's going
on? What about it?
What's going on?
I'm great. Merry Christmas to you and everyone. What I have to say is I realized something with Ashley. I find that Ashley is always the person behind instigating a lot of these fights, and I fear that it goes to the V word. I think that Giselle didn't really show any accountability when she's having a discussion with Wendy. I saw, not Wendy, what's her name? Monique. And I watched what happened live. Monique said that there was a lot more that Giselle did take accountable for, but they didn't show it. And I have to question why producers don't show Giselle like that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All.
Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
Take care. All right. Let me get to, we have a few more people backstage that I want to bring up. De La Shea, what's going on? What did you want to share about Real Housewives of Potomac?
Oh, hey, that's my way of shouting out AJ because I love Stacey's best friend, AJ, keeping it cute and honest with the girls. Like, we're too old. Let's wrap this out by 5 p.m. so we can have a happy hour. With that in mind, I understand why Tia was so upset, like the fact that she really did play in her face. And my thing is, I'm okay with a cute little white lie, but put me on to game. Like, don't let Wendy know. Like, I don't want her to feel some kind of way because I understand being lied on. Nobody likes that. I'm not going to, respond lovingly to that. But what was even more disappointing is Monique's healing. If Monique's healing equates to a lack of accountability from Giselle, I don't want it. I need a little bit of sauce on it because Giselle just got off scot-free, even though I did appreciate them showing the conversation. And on that note, have a good one.
Thanks, De La Shea. Take care. All right. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. And if you're watching the replay of this, be sure to let us know your thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac, how you'd rate this week's episode, your thoughts on what happened in this week's episode, your thoughts on what I had to say, what people had to say. But what we don't do here is moderate adults. So don't go, fighting with people in the comment section. You will get blocked. Okay? Let me say thank you. Ali says, a wealthy older black man could approach Ashley and she would turn him down. She wants to be with an older white man like her father. I mean, I never thought about it that way, Ali, and I'm now thinking, I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Because there were older black men that were on Love Hotel. Was she entertaining them at all? I can't remember. Especially if it's Ashley in the scene. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Ms. Esquire says, there's federal and state tax liens. This man does not have the coin in regards to Greg. And Ms. Esquire has been doing her digging on Greg of it all. We don't know. Do I even think that Kiarna and Greg are going to even... Okay, they'll get engaged, but actually walk down the aisle and get married? I don't know about that, y'all. All right, the Bear Claire, we're going to bring up next. Bear Claire, what did you want to share?
Happy holidays, Kemp. I felt like a Libra had to join in on the calls. To the caller who was speaking about diamonds and how they're worth nothing. Yes, go with a gemstone. Go with a quality gemstone. That's going to get you far. That's where it's at. And they're never priced as, high as a diamond. But the Potomac ladies, I'm loving. I'll be honest, did not watch this episode. I'm playing catch up because Housewives of Beverly Hills, they disappointed me. I don't know if I can even watch after years. And I'm just happy to be converted back to my Potomac ladies. And also Salt Lake City, you need to do better. Oh. You're losing me.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Claire. Bye. Yeah, I feel like Salt Lake, it started off really, really good. And I feel like as we're getting closer to the end, they just filmed a reunion as well. We did talk about the seating chart in one of our other videos, so be sure to check that out. I think it was the Kimora Lee video that I talked about it. It's sort of like it started off good, and now I'm feeling like, we're teetering a little bit. All right. Do they need to bring Jen Shaw back? No, they don't. All right, let's bring up Brandy up next. Brandy, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So with Giselle, it seems like when Monique first came back on the scene, like at Pride, Giselle was all good and her energy was good. But as soon as Wendy got in that car and reminded her about the binder and the reunion and everything, Giselle like flipped. Like she can go back to where she been 5 years or whatever. Like it seemed like her attitude changed all of a sudden when she got reminded. And then Greg, with him and Kiana, I'm wondering, like, when he offers to buy her the condo, does that mean he's going to put his name on the title or
right, I don't
he's
get
going to buy? Huh?
I don't get it. I don't know what he means.
Because I'm like, okay, if you buy it for me, as long as you're not trying to, like, put your name on the title or have a key and control something, you know, that's all good. But other than that, don't fall for it, Kiana.
And do you get it? And is it in a prenup? Do you get it if we get divorced? Like, I need more details. I don't believe it, though. I don't believe any of it.
Ask more questions.
Yeah. All right.
And lastly, with Stacey, she does lie. I do feel like she was trying to have a scene because AJ had already told her to go Detroit on the women. Mm-hmm. And she was like trying to give Ashley that energy, it seemed like, but she ended up going left with Tia. And I really wish she would have just kept it to Ashley and not Tia, because I don't get if they're icing her out, how she's sabotaging her only possible allies with like not inviting Wendy and kicking Tia out. Like, what? And then she lies so much, she's not even telling her daughter that the gummies are marijuana. So I'm scared that the daughter gonna eat a gummy. Like,
oh God, no, hopefully not. All right, Brady, we got to go. But thank you so much for calling in.
Okay.
Bye. Can we all agree that we all believe that Stacey tells lies? We're just not understanding how these lies affect an Ashley or a Giselle. Because they all lie too. Just saying. And we're not excusing lies, but we're just saying, we're talking about this show. All right, last but definitely not least, we're going to bring up Demi. Demi, what are your final thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac?
Final thoughts. My final thought is on Kay having to elevate this man in our face. That bothers me to no end. I think women
like Todd,
have to really...
like that Candy did for Todd?
Yeah, all of that. Mary J. Blige, we can name them all. We can go down the list if you have time.
Wendy
really.
Williams.
So, like, stop doing that. It's okay to have a man just stand beside you. You don't have, you look, and you're going to look even crazier with egg on your face once this all is done. Like, girl, he bought your condo. Girl, he bought you that ring. What do you mean? And it's all been a lie. If Kay does have a ring on her finger, we know she bought it. We already know she bought it. And I do hope, honestly, because don't lie to us. We will come with you to the truth. I really do hope that someone's like, well, but she doesn't have any enemies, so I don't know what's going to really happen. That's Stacey that does it. Says, no, well, Greg has this debt. He has that debt, which is also why I appreciate when Juan went to that jewelry store with Giselle. He was buying a really like regular ring, another precious stone that wasn't diamond, but still would have value for Robin.
Yeah.
One quick thing. Did you finish the documentary, the 50 Cent thing yet? Did you finish it? The Diddy doc yet?
I haven't finished it. I still have the last two episodes. I kind of put it off because I knew I didn't have a chance to recap it, and I kind of don't want to rush through it when I recap it. I want to be all fresh in my mind. Why?
Well, a photo dropped of someone that is on the documentary, and it's really interesting. I don't want to give anything away. So yeah.
I saw that. I saw. She's a super fan.
Super fan. But I'll let you go. I'll catch you on the 3:00 live. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays.
Timmy. You too. I mean, I'm not a Diddy supporter, but like we have our attorneys that come on. That doesn't look good when they did the whole jury selection. It's like, y'all couldn't find that photo. Y'all didn't realize that she was a fan. That doesn't look. I don't know if that will do anything for them in the future in regards to this case, but the jury was tainted. But okay. Anthony's backstage. Anthony will be our last caller. Anthony, what's going on?
Oh my God, me being the last caller, I'm about to clock out of work. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, you're good. I'm good. I'm calling from LA. I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10. I thought it was solid. 2 notes, Monique and Kiarna. Greg reminds me of Britt Eadie's husband when they were private plane shopping. He looked nervous. They were private jet shopping, like trying to see the prices and all. Like that was just like, no. And obviously, because of the cases of his kids, like Kiarna, it looks bad on you too. Like you'd rather him buy you a condo and a ring this how much? Like, girl, bye. And then for lastly, Monique. I feel like Monique wasn't necessarily kissing the ring. She was throwing it like shade at Giselle. Like, yeah, you've been through it. You're divorced. Your husband dragged you. So like that's why you understand what I'm going through. So in her own way, Monique did it. Kind of explain it, but obviously Candace does deserve an apology, a direct apology. Will she get it? I don't know. But that was years ago. I don't know. I just like Monique. I'm not going to say like it's okay to do that to everybody, but once in a while, you know, if you ask to get dragged, you will get dragged.
Damn.
That's it. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
You too, Anthony. Take care.
Likewise.
Anthony says, if you ask to be dragged, Anthony is so sweet too. You would not think that. Lord have mercy. Ms. Esquire says, did she lie about knowing him, the juror? Because that's usually a part of the jury questionnaire. I can't, because I don't remember the jury selection process, but I know there were a few people that obviously knew who he was, and they were like, yeah, you know, I know who he is. I don't know if she ever said that she was a fan or not. I think we would have to kind of go back to the transcript to see. I would want to know your thoughts on whether or not would this open up a can of worms for the prosecution. But they were, I don't know. Look, I don't think this is over for Diddy, but I will be recapping the Diddy documentary this week. Yeah, this week. It's a busy week, but I'm going to make time to recap it. I might have to ixnay on one of these recap A's. And thank you guys so much for all the super chats. Those of you sending cash apps, Venmos, I appreciate all of that. So I don't see them because I have my notifications off. But yeah, thank you so everyone that sends in super chats. April, thank you so much for the super chat. April says, do you think if Wendy doesn't return that Stacey will return without her? I think Stacey definitely will return. But Stacey wants to be on this platform. Will production decide to bring her back? That's why I said I think it's up in the air. Just because fans love you, it's not enough to keep you on the show if no one wants to film with you. But I definitely think Wendy will return next season. And Stacey, use the reunion to have some sort of reconciliation. It's going to benefit not just you, it's going to benefit the other ladies that are getting it from the fans for dumping on you the entire season. So it could be you might not like them, they might not like you, but at the reunion, you guys can actually have resolution, and because there really is no deep beef between any of you, there really isn't. And any true deep beef that could have been would have probably been between you and Wendy, and there is no deep beef there. So you guys really could have resolve at the reunion. Okay, Queen Resna. I was like, wait, is this a fake account that has my picture? Queen says, thank you for 2025 Kempire. And shout out to all of you that have been tagging me in your 2025 wrap up and me being either your number one or in your top 5. I appreciate it. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. And thank you to all of you that gifted memberships today as well. We appreciate that. And thank you so much already for 1,151 likes. If you haven't liked the video already, if you're watching replay of this, be sure to like the video. Easy, free way of supporting the channel. And thank you to the 6 people that disliked, or the one person that went to their 6 different accounts to dislike. I appreciate you for watching. Okay. Belicious has been a member for 40 months. Says that's not the juror in that photo, Kemp. Is it not? It looks like her. Looks like her. So either way, based off the documentary, you can tell that she's a super fan based on what people have watched so far. Tish, thank you so much for gifting memberships. We appreciate that. Fab says number 1 for 2025. Yes, Kempire. Thank you. Okay. And be sure to thank Tish for your membership win, y'all. And thank you to the 7th person that disliked the video. Keep watching. I hope y'all realize that YouTube doesn't read the dislike or likes in that way. It's still engagement. And the fact that you've been sitting here watching that's even better. The advertiser dollars. Come on now. Thank you to the advertiser dollars. Thank you. Joyce says, you're my number one most watched channel, Kempire. Thank you. Keep tagging me, guys. I love seeing this and hearing it. Namaste says, you made my 2025 something very special. Thank you, Kempire and community. Thank you, Namaste, Jay. We appreciate you. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here because I have to go watch. I know, again, Married to Medicine. I'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, okay? I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for being here. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe. We're almost at 600,000 subscribers here on the channel. We just need a little bit less than 50,000 more subscribers. So, less than 40,000 subscribers. So, subscribe today. Come on now. All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.